What are constraints and how to use them? Thank you for joining me on this, my journey into the constraints-led approach for BJJ. My name is Sam Battlefield, and today you're going to learn what a constraint is and how to use them. I remember when I first heard the name constraints-led approach. I bristled because in the common tongue, that has a negative connotation. But as I know now, CLA means something positive and uplifting. We are constraining the game by making mini games out of the full game. And these mini games allow exploration without being overwhelmed by the full game. People learn faster in a way that's more conceptual and personalized to their experience. It's not the first time CLA has hijacked the meaning of something from something commonly thought of as bad to something good. The word degeneracy is my personal favorite. In CLA, degeneracy means you're getting better at something. There's a few other definitions that make more sense. Affordances are essentially opportunities that are afforded to you. If you hear me say affordances on this channel, you can generally interchange it with opportunity. Emergent behaviors are, well, behaviors that emerge. Self-organization and adaptability are self-explanatory to a degree. There are personal constraints. I've spoken about one of mine in a previous video. These are constraints that are personal. Thanks for listening. Obviously, there's more to it. Personal constraints can be height, weight, strength, stomach size, endurance, flexibility, skill level, how you feel at the time, and how smart you are. And of course, all of these will affect what and how you are able to do anything within any environment. It's the cornerstone of the constraints-led approach, being able to self-organize around what you're capable of within a certain environment. That was a segue. The next type of constraints, environmental constraints, can include the physical environment. In the grappling world, this might be temperature, humidity, mat slipperiness from sweat, the space available on the mat, other people on the mat. There's also social constraints, such as how many people are watching you, peer pressure, cultural norms, like what no gi means in Australia. And there's also task environment constraints, such as the rule set that you're training for. But you're not here for all these deeper understandings of what makes CLA tick. You're here to find out how to make games with constraints that improve skills. First, we have to look at what we're trying to achieve in a session. This could be any number of things during a lesson. We started with our warm-up, boxing tag. In this case, I used a time constraint, 1 minute rounds with no breaks. Just swap in and go. This ensured that there was a high level of intensity, which would result in a quick warm-up. The next game though, it had no timer. Starting in a single leg ashi leg entanglement, the goal was for one person to finish the straight ankle lock and the other to escape using the target objectives. We then did the same in cross ashi. These target objectives are also a constraint. In this case, get the knee below the TV dinner line, get the thigh outside the knee line, stand on the foot being attacked. Considering these positions all had an element of danger, especially to white belts who are new to leg entanglements, I didn't want anyone's knees to go. There was no need to ratchet up the intensity by giving it a time constraint, meaning these guys could figure out how to escape or how to finish the attack without fucking themselves or their partner up, or me. Later in the class during the last game, I made the games 2.5 minutes. I wanted to encourage exploration of the things we worked on this week, but also at a medium intensity, representative somewhat of a full round, but with the idea that there would only be 2 or 3 phases from the working position. And lo and behold, at the 2.5 minute mark, the intensity was exactly where I wanted it to be. Here's the thing, I could tell those guys the intensity that I wanted to run at, but you know how I feel about direct instruction. Doesn't work. Just like telling someone to go 50%. There's alternative ways to constrain the tasks as well. When I first started using that boxing tag game, I was finding people were just playing happy tappy slappy bullshit. I needed to find a way to make it more realistic. I needed people to understand that if I was able to get a palm on their shoulder, that was a potential KO as I'm in range of your chin, and that it was on target as well. They needed to respect it. So for a while, we played the game with a point system. 3 points for a clean palm on the shoulder, i.e. not blocked in any way, or 1 point to the torso, 1st to 12. It was only a couple of goes with this format, and people were respecting the hit, resulting in improved head movement and footwork. Another way to look at constraining tasks is with complexity. If you have a bunch of purples, browns, and blacks, opening the limitations up so that it resembles situational sparring might not be a bad thing. Similarly, you might want to heavily constrain a task so as to provide context for it later, especially when that task constraint has a high invariance. For example, if you're looking to teach an armbar, maybe you look at constraining the task to be at the absolute end of the process first, having the armbar pretty much fully locked up, and all that is needed is to disengage the defenses and pull the arm straight while the person tries to escape. You then open up the constraints gradually. Today, just before the last game that I mentioned before that was complex in nature, I noticed an opportunity for a bridging game that turned out to be far better than I'd hoped. This game was able to maintain the intention of the session, and as it turns out, prompted several aha moments, a fact that they told me gleefully afterwards, and this game allowed them to be even more competitive in that final game. This level of adaptability, if I do say so myself, is where the real constraints-led approach coach shines. If you think that I'm wrong, I'd love to have you on. Go to battlefieldsgrappling.com.au and fill in the form. Everyone else, like, comment, subscribe.